Uh, don't you dare shake your head at me wearing what
Oh,
you're
we're
wearing, Mr. Russell.
straight in with the paddy whackery. Let's just get it all out of the way in one go.
There'll be more malarkey to follow. Welcome to the Unusual Suspects, Drew. Wonderful to see you looking like that and having you with us. And Griff and Mary,
Actually,
welcome as well.
Drew, could I borrow that?
Sure. 1 sec.
Oh yeah. Yeah, why don't you just pass it over?
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Great stuff. It suits you better. I've got plenty of hair of my own anyway.
Because these tricks never wear old.
One person out there watching this.
Probably one too many.
Oh, zero. Not.
That was way smoother than last week. It must be said. That was actually. I was almost convinced, and I know. I pulled back the curtain on the wizard. I know what the real thing is. How was your St. Paddy's Day? How did it go for you guys?
It was good. we had a morning fry up.
Yeah,
Drew.
nice.
Fry up outside on the fire pit.
Beautiful.
So yeah.
It was like a really wonderful new Paddy's Day tradition. We're gonna light up the charcoal grill and do the fry outside.
Super.
Especially on days like today. It has been an amazing day.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
We went down to Fitzgerald Park and met some friends, and
Very cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
lovely. Sitting out drinking coffee there. It was actually warm, so it mustn't actually be St. Patrick's Day. We must have all got it wrong, because usually you want sleety rain coming in at about a 45-degree angle. So it's not. I think that's why we all know it's not a real Paddy's Day this year, because it's weather's far too nice. All of the years marching down the main street of Adair or Rathkeil or wherever it was. Back in the old days, and the rain coming in at a good strong angle, yeah.
Those were the days, my friend.
Oh, the before times.
It must be St. Patrick's Day. Drew's getting all sentimental on us about the. I didn't realize I had the side thing on graphics instead of chat. I was like, hey, it's very quiet out there, but we have got some chats. Brian, you are Mr. Reliable. It is so good having you on board.
Great.
Happy St. Paddy's Day to you as well. Hey, Mom. Good to have you on board as well. Guys, don't forget, we're still taking requests. And so send in your requests. If Olive Holland is watching, we have got your version of When I Survey the Wondrous Cross. So look out for that. Although it's St. Paddy's Day, we don't forget that we're in Lens. So we're going to do a bit of a mashup tonight. But everybody else out there, so good having you with us on Soul Sessions this week. And to kick us off, it is really St. Patrick's Day heavy. I mean, it's pretty cool, our lineup. And Drew, is that the Irish rugby team? Is that their top?
It sure is. Yeah, I'm not great on kind of nationalism or patriotism, but I do enjoy supporting the rugby. All right, yeah. So this is probably one of my only items of green clothing. I don't think it's my color, but I said I'd go for the evening that was in it. Yeah.
Drew, I think it's fair to tell the listening audience you were concerned about a kind of underlying nationalistic zeal to the whole sort of Patrick's Day Soul Sessions idea.
Not the Soul Sessions idea, more just the whole
thing.
Of it.
The whole thing.
But
Okay.
let's not get too political. Like, there is a difference between nationalism and patriotism, I suppose.
Okay.
Let's go down more the patriotism. Well, I am proud to be Irish, of course I am, but
as you should be, as you really should be. And on that note, Drew is going to sing for us If You're Irish. So Drew, won't you take it away for us?
Yeah, I'm apologising in advance, and this is just to get it out of the way as much as everything. But you are all welcome, okay? And this is, in fact, the place for you. Right, okay, let's try it.
Disclaimer.
If you're Irish, come into the parlour. There's a welcome there for you. And if your name is Tim your pat. As long as you come from Ireland, there's a welcome on the mat. And if you come from the mountains of Moran, or Killarney's lakes so blue, we'll sing a song, we'll make a fuss. Whoever you are, you're one of us. If you're Irish, this is the place for you. If you're Irish, come into the parlour, there's a welcome there for you. And if your name is Griff or Mary or Andrew, as so long as you've moved to Ireland, there's a welcome there for you. See how I got that in? And if you come from the mountains of Moran, or Killarney's lake so blue, we'll sing a song, we'll make a fuss. Whoever you are, you're one of us. If you're Irish, this is the place for you. Done. That's it. I'm out.
Nice recovery, Drew. I was just about to feel insulted that we actually aren't true Irish.
See, this is the problem. I was trying to even find a song that wasn't political, and it was still political, like, you know?
Well, here's a question for you guys. What makes you Irish?
Well, after you.
Yeah.
No. This could be a long one. Well, it was very interesting about it. You always feel like, I certainly felt maybe before. So the Ruttles, anyway, have German heritage. My mother's family has French Huguenot and Scottish heritage, all Protestants of various flavors, and I did certainly feel that there was a sense that you weren't Irish enough, really, at times when I was younger, because there's two kinds of Ireland. You know, you can be Irish or you can be Irish. But thankfully, in the last, I suppose, only 20 years, maybe 25 years, or maybe longer, and I've just been conscious of it that length of time, Ireland has changed hugely. So I am proud of Ireland. I'm not proud of the paddy whackery Irish. I'm proud of the, progressive, modern European country that Ireland has become.
Okay.
And all in, like in Cork, there was like 2 weekends a year when Cork became like multicultural, during the choral festival and during the jazz festival.
Oh, yes.
That was kind of it, right?
Yeah.
So it was like everyone was in Cork, and then the rest of the time we were all kind of grey and Irish then again for the rest of the year. So
you're gonna get murdered by your countrymen.
I'm taking every county. I'm going for Dublin next week. So I'm very proud of a modern, progressive, welcoming country that I feel that Ireland has become over the last couple of decades. For all people. Hopefully, there's a long way to go, but yeah. So that's what I'm proud of today.
Okay, brilliant. I was asked why I'm not wearing anything green. I haven't actually got anything green to wear, but we do have these. I got a little coloured-in leprechaun, and there's a bit of story to this. With the church, with the Sunday school, they've been like handing out different things to colour in and put in the windows and stuff. So our top windows were all covered with hearts and rainbows and all sorts of stuff. And honestly, for me, I'm like, it's a little bit too. That's what the Robinsons are up to at number 2. But Erin and Mary were on with it and they loved it. And our neighbor actually came across and said, "Oh, we're loving what you're putting up in the windows. We've got some leprechauns for Paddy's Day." So these came in, and now these are stuck up on the window, and I had to fight my daughter to peel this one off and bring it. So Maureen, I'm so sorry. I'm not wearing anything green, but please know I have kind of honored. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. From one leprechaun to another. I'll hand mine over to you, Griff. There we go. Awesome. Wow. Almost exactly the same. Listen, this Soul Sessions is getting away from the music. We need to return to our roots here. And we have our next one, which is a little bit more serious. No paddywhackery in this one. St. Patrick's hymn. True?
No. St. Patrick, whoever he might have been, was a great man. I saw something about...
he was an Englishman, wasn't he?
He was a great Englishman.
He was a Welshman. You know darn well he was a Welshman.
British, let's say. And it is an interesting history, and possibly an amalgam of at least 3 different Patricks. But regardless, Ireland seemed to welcome him with open hearts. And something I saw just on the television a couple of days ago was this idea that his message was so well received because because every soul was equal. If you were a slave like he was, or if you were a woman like he was, your soul was just important as the kings or the landlords or the chieftains or whoever it was at the time. And that was kind of speculation as to why his message was so well received all of that 1600 years ago, whenever it was. So yes, we will go for that, St. Patrick. Let's go for that, yeah.
Drew, did you, for St. Patrick's Day, did you go and kiss the Blarney Stone today by any chance? Or you?
I'm like this all the time, you know. I restrain myself every Wednesday evening.
Can you put those words to music, Drew?
I'll do my very best.
Take it away, sir.
Christ be with me and within me, Christ behind me and before, Christ to fight me and to win me, Christ to comfort and restore, Christ beneath me and above me, Christ in quiet and in danger, Christ in hearts of those who love me, Christ in mouth of friend and stranger. Christ be with me and within me, Christ behind me and before, Christ to fight for me and win me, Christ to comfort and restore, Christ beneath me and above me, Christ in quiet and in danger, Christ in hearts of those who love me, Christ in mouth of friend and stranger. Christ in every heart that's broken, Christ in every joy and pain, Christ in every word that's spoken, Christ in sun and moon and rain, Christ in resting and in rising, Christ the Lord of all my life, Christ to guide me and to shield me, Christ protecting me in strife. Christ be with me and within me, Christ behind me and before, Christ to fight for me and win me, Christ to comfort and restore, Christ beneath me and above me, Christ in quiet and in danger, Christ in hearts of those who love me, Christ in mouth of friend and stranger.
Beautiful, Drew. Thank you so much. I didn't realize we were so top heavy with you tonight, because you're owning the entire first part of the program, really.
I'm off for a decaf cup of tea now, right? I'll see you later.
Not quite yet. Not quite yet. You got one more song to sing. This is the song's not really an Irish song. It's an Irish sounding song, Drew. In Christ Alone. Were you aware of the song? Have you played the song before?
Oh, have I? What?
Okay.
I think my favorite rendition of In Christ Alone was RTE. Some of you listening in will remember when we did the RTE television service a few years ago, and we had Caroline on the flute, we had a violin. I think it was Diane on the piano, and we had a violin. Will somebody message me the name of the woman who used to play the violin in church, because it's completely escaped me. So we had the violin and everything, and it was lovely. The refrain, the sort of interlude between the verses, was beautiful on the flute and the violin. So yes, so everyone should know this one at home.
Oh, so Cork Church has actually played the song on RTE.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Famous
Okay.
for it.
Oh, made the song famous. Okay, but it is a beautiful song, and I'm glad you're playing it for us tonight, Drew. Let me take it away.
In Christ alone my hope is found. He is my light, my strength, my song. This cornerstone, this solid ground, firm through the fiercest drought and storm. What heights of love, what depths of peace, when fears are still, when striving cease. My comforter, my all in all, here in the love of Christ I stand. In Christ alone, who took on flesh, fullness of God in helpless babe, the gift of love and righteousness, scorned by the ones he came to save, till on that cross as Jesus died, the wrath of God was satisfied, for every sin on him was laid. Here in the death of Christ I live. There in the ground his body lay, light of the world by darkness slain. Then bursting forth in glorious day, up from the grave he rose again. And as he stands in victory, sin's curse has lost its grip on me. For I am his, and he is mine, bought by the precious blood of Christ. No guilt in life, no fear in death. This is the power of Christ in me. From life's first cry to final breath, Jesus commands my destiny. No power of hell, no scheme of man can ever pluck me from his hand, till he returns or calls me home. Here in the power of Christ I'll stand. No power of hell, no scheme of man can ever pluck me from his hand, till he returns or calls me home. Here in the power of Christ I'll stand.
Beautiful, Drew. Beautiful, beautiful.
Great
Thank
song.
you so much. Great, great song. Drew, you can take a breather now. Go grab your extra week decaf coffee and
I'll make it nice and Methodist. 2 dunks and back on the clothesline for the next time.
keep it looking like vanilla milkshake. Eh? We have a studio guest tonight. I'm very excited to welcome Green. He serves in the Methodist Church UK. He is originally he is of Scottish descent. So he's serving in the UK church, lived in South Africa, is of Scottish descent. And Sorry, I'm just having all sorts of issues here with my connection. And so St. Patrick's was Welsh. We have UK representation. We have Scottish coming in, and we have us as the Irish. So Brexit be damned, we are unified. But before we get there, as it is the Lenten season, our two songs this evening that kind of represent our faith a little bit is the one we've just sung, In Christ Alone. And then while I was taking my daughter to school across Gus Healy car park, I was pulled aside by Mrs. Olive Holland, and she requested When I Survey, which we sang last week, but not this particular tune, which is, if I'm pronouncing this correctly, Morte Christe. And she requested that. And she said, it doesn't have to be this week, but I thought, you know what, we are in Lent. It's perfectly appropriate to play it. And I listened to it actually on YouTube just to get a sense of the tune. It's really, really beautiful. So we're looking forward to this. So Griff and Mary, you guys are going to lead us in When I Survey.
Yeah, thank you, Olive. And this is bringing it back to St. Patrick's. This is a Welsh tune. And Mary found a wonderful arrangement of it. Welsh men's choruses are famous. This is she found the arrangement for Welsh men's chorus. We'll sing bits of it, some harmony towards the end. But thank you, Olive, for recommending this one. It's been fun learning it.
Okay.
When I survey the wondrous cross on which the Prince of Glory died, my richest gain I count but loss, and more content on all my pride. Forbid it, Lord, that I should boast, save in the death of Christ my God. All the vain things that charm me most, I sacrifice them to his blood. See from his head, his hands, his feet, sorrow and love flow mingled down. Did such love and sorrow meet, all thoughts compose so rich a crown. The whole realm of nature mine, that were a present far too small. Love so amazing, so
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Really magnificent. Thanks,
Wow.
Griff. Thanks, Mary. Yeah. Everybody's. Oh, okay. Drew, have you frozen there? Oh no, you are moving. Things froze for a second, and then you went very still. So I was like, oh, he's still frozen. No, that was beautiful. And again, thank you to Olive for the recommendations. I really appreciate them, and keep the recommendations coming in. We have a very quiet chat, so if you want to make some comments, we'd love to hear from you on the chat. And yeah, so thanks for that beautiful rendition of When I Survey. Now that we are in the 5th week of Lent, that much further ado, I'm going to there we go. Okay, Morte Christe. She was
It's a lovely arrangement of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Emrys Jones.
The
I'm off.
piano before the last verse was fab. Yeah. Yeah.
Turned out to be.
Yeah, I think we need to do that in church. If not this week, then certainly next week for Palm Sunday. It'd be beautiful. Yeah. Can we put in that request for Palm Sunday? Okay, cool. Guys, I'm going to boot you off and bring on Reverend Duncan McBean. Are you okay with that?
Yep.
See you in 10. Duncan. Oh my goodness, your audio is not particularly good there. Can you hear me? Yeah, I don't know. We've got a. Can you chat there, Duncan? Let's hear how you're coming through.
I can hear myself perfectly well.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to listen to the private chat here for others. Can you? Because I can't hear it very clearly. Drew, Mary, Griff, how's it for you? It's really not clear for me. Are you using a microphone at all?
Yeah.
Are you able to go straight into your computer? Just use your default sound on the phone or the computer, Duncan.
Hold on. Should be better.
Oh wow. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, it had gone into default, and I don't have a default, so.
Right. Duncan, warm welcome to you to Soul Session.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
Yeah. So I thought I'd put you in here for a 10-minute chat. And maybe to start us off, Duncan, where are you guys with COVID right now in the UK?
Your guess is as good as mine. I think tentatively coming out of lockdown. It's the sort of two extremes, really. It's those who can't wait to get back and have everything be normal and are doing things like holding parties and going shopping without masks and things like that. And then there's the other lot, and I found myself more on this end, who are very cautious about re-engaging. And I've got about half of my churches happy to come back to worship in person, and about half of the normal congregations wanting to still isolate themselves a bit, so waiting a little bit longer before they come back. So I suppose tentatively coming out of lockdown.
So are you back in church,
where we
Duncan?
are? Yeah, with some and with not. I'm doing a mixture of Zoom services from home, which is lovely because you roll out of bed and you've just got to freshen up the top half and then sit in front of the camera and run a PowerPoint. And half of the time I'm doing that, and then the other half of the time, like this Sunday, I'm doing the traditional roll out of bed, freshen the entire body, get into the car, drive for 20 minutes to get to church, and I'll be doing that in-person stuff this Sunday. So it's 6 of one, a half dozen of the other at the minute.
So just if I'm hearing correctly, is this the top half of you freshened up that you're getting right now?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, I polished my head and all the rest of it. Yeah.
Duncan, like I said, it's so good having you on. Duncan, there's been like a range of questions we've asked every guest coming on to Soul Sessions. And the first one is really, how important has your faith been through COVID?
I find it very difficult to answer that without sounding horribly super spiritual, but for me, faith is faith. It's there. It's just simple. How important it's been in terms of understanding COVID, in our relationship with God and the world and all that. Yeah, I suppose it's been important, but it hasn't really changed. It didn't become more important or less important.
Okay.
I don't know if that's making particular sense.
No, that's absolutely fine. I mean, has the past year sort of challenged or changed your faith in any way?
Challenged, yeah. It's quite exciting. I'm waiting for death. That's something that really has been challenging. Yeah, I'm waiting for the whole death and resurrection thing because I really think that's small panic there. There is this
where's he going?
There is this mad temptation to wind you up something terrible, but I'm really trying hard not to. Years and years of doing it, now I've got to hold back. No, the whole death and resurrection thing for me has come into sharper focus. You know, as we go through each church season, each year, different things pop up as a focus for that year. So, you know, one Christmas it'll be the birth of Christ. The next Christmas it'll be the frailty of a newborn. The next Christmas it'll be the shadow of the cross over the manger. And this year for me, Easter has had a resonance because we're hopefully coming to the end of this long lockdown COVID season, and I'm hoping that we're not going to go into lockdown 4. But for me, looking at the way it's impacted on the church and the way it's impacted to a lesser degree on myself, I'm waiting for that resurrection after the death bit. I think for some people in the church and for some folk I've been chatting to, it's very much a case that they do not want to go back to doing things the way they were. There are communion stewards who, after not having done in-person communion for a year, are asking themselves whether they can do it again. You know, and it might be like falling off riding a bicycle for some people, but you know, for these folk, it's a case of, first of all, can I do it justice? And secondly, do I actually want to? And I think that COVID has offered the church as a whole a sort of opportunity to embrace the death of some things and to look for resurrection in other things. But there are, of course, a lot of people just wanting things to go back to normal as they were, you know, to get back into their comfortable old shoes and just to have that comfort of the same old cosseting them again. And I find myself torn between the two because, you know, when you get into a rhythm with things, when you get into routine with things, it's lovely to be able to fall back into it and just be carried along by the river. But there's also this challenge of swimming upstream or fighting the current for a bit to move to a different spot in the river. I don't want to stretch the analogy too far because I don't swim that well. But, you know, I think the church is at an exciting time. And it's this whole death and resurrection thing, which really we should be talking about in Easter. What is there new that is waiting for us if we just let something die? So I'm waiting for the death bit. I'm waiting to see what does not make it through.
Well, Duncan, can I tease that out just a little bit with you and ask you, you know, what would the church, what would you hope the church would look like moving forward that would be sort of life-giving and would come out of this in the best possible way? What's that vision for you?
I dare not say too much because this is being recorded, I think, and will be published. And I really don't need to get him back to the hierarchy of the church. I think there's a lot to be gained by us remembering our roots in Methodism. One of the things I've been thinking about over this time of COVID is the place of place. What does the building mean and what does the building actually matter? And in many ways, it provides us with a convenient place, A, to worship, and B, just as importantly, to fellowship. So if we take the building out of the equation, what is there stopping us carrying on doing those things? Nothing in particular, because we can do them somewhere else. I think coming out of the season, what I'd like to see happening is I'd like to see a focus on re-establishing house groups, small groups, groups that do not meet in the church. That would be something I'd like. I do have a vision, and it's not a particularly positive one in the sense of Methodism as a formal religion, formal denomination, I should say. My vision for that is a tad apocalyptic, because I think it's going to shrink down to a few points that you can identify as being Methodist by place. But I think Methodism, with its strong focus on social justice and its strong focus on individual witness, is going to flourish. But it's only going to flourish in small group settings, so house groups and things like that. And I don't see anything wrong with that. Speaking as somebody whose pension is invested in the Methodist Church, I don't see anything wrong with that, because I think that is a good and appropriate model for the way people live and work nowadays. And I do find it challenging that we're trying to maintain a model that is a couple of 100 years old, where virtually all of society, by virtue of response or lack of response, is telling us that model is of no interest to them. So yeah, it's where we're going with this, I think, is a very exciting, is full of very exciting possibilities, but only if we grasp the nettle. And we get back to the death and resurrection thing. We can face death, and we can face death with confidence, both as a church and individuals, if we believe in resurrection, whatever form resurrection takes. And I'm not great on the whole golden heaven and you get your own room and it's, I don't know, there's so many different ways that people express what heaven is. But I think resurrection in itself speaks of life, and more than just life. It's big life.
Yeah.
And I think if we have courage, if we grasp the nettle now, even though we're about 30 years too late as a church, if we grasp the nettle now, we can come into a place where we won't necessarily be the biggest church around, we won't necessarily be the wealthiest church around, but we have an opportunity of being a relevant church that has a foothold in many different communities and is reflected in strong issues of social justice and that kind of thing, work with charities, practical expression as well as spiritual expression.
Lovely, Duncan, lovely. Duncan, one closing question for you. We want to move back onto the music in a few minutes. But just what's bringing you life right now? Where do you see God moving in your own life?
I was talking a bit about this on Sunday, and the thing that has maintained and fed my faith, and the thing that is still doing that, are the little expressions of grace. It's finding God's grace, the lovely Methodist thing of prevenient grace. It's finding God's grace in places you never expected to find it, or in ways you never expected it to be there. And that for me is what's maintained it. Finding how the churches have responded to having the buildings closed, I think, has been the most beautiful thing, because our first response and the overwhelming response and the most powerful response has been pastoral. People got stuck in, and I tip my hat to the folk who are over 70, over 80, over 90, who've got their heads around Zoom and are doing things like that, and join in Zoom services and join in Zoom coffee mornings and things like that. Kudos to them, because it took me a good while to get my head around it. And yes, you get lots of fingers when you start out in the meeting. People are prodding the screen trying to figure out what's going on. But it's wonderful how this response has happened. And it's been pastoral. It's been people saying, right, the first thing we need to do is make sure that everyone's okay, and we're going to check on them every week. And it's been brilliant. My churches have done that brilliantly, and I think it's lovely. I think that for me has been one of the biggest signs of God's grace, that people have looked to one another and just reached out to help. It's been wonderful.
Yeah. Well, Duncan, I must say it's been wonderful chatting to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on, my friend.
Always good to see you, Andrew.
And it's always good.
I'm enjoying following Soul Sessions. You guys are great. I'm not going to comment on the quality of music because I can't, but you guys are absolutely brilliant. I'd never heard that last hymn done to that tune, and I can't say that I'm going to give it a go because it's too high and too difficult, but well done to all of you.
Duncan, I love you all the time, but I especially enjoy you when the top half is polished.
God bless you.
God bless you, Duncan. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye. Mary Griff, welcome back. What is that? Prevenient Grace. And Griff, being an early adopter, has gone online and Googled what is prevenient grace. The love of God wooing us, the will of God, the desire of God, the gift of God, that grace that comes before any human decision or endeavor. Yeah, thank you. Brilliant. Beautiful. And, actually, in terms of that grace, we're pulling Drew on, who's downed at least one cup of decaf coffee, and is due for our next song, which is a contemporary chorus called Forever. It's based on the devotional I did last week, Thursday, and it's a beautiful contemporary chorus. So I really look forward to playing for it. And just to remind you, a little bit of a shout out here and adverts. Don't forget, here on Facebook and YouTube, 10 o'clock on Thursday, I do a short 10, 15-minute devotional. Would love to have you on board with that, and for you to sort of phone in, message in your prayer requests so that we can kind of make it like a live prayer session. I'm actually using Restream. Started last week. I'm using Restream to do that. So I am able to pick up the messages as well. So really kind of chuffed with that development. Duncan's has put on a private chat message there. Duncan, so glad to have you with us. But without much further ado, Drew, over to you to lead us with a beautiful contemporary chorus, Forever.
Great, thank you, Andrew. And I will also commend the Thursday evenings as well. You have a different energy on Thursdays, Andrew. You're very mellow, which I really enjoyed. I didn't fall asleep towards the end of it. Definitely didn't, but it's a lovely wind down to the day, and the message stuck with me, which was give thanks to the Lord, for He is good. His love endures forever.
The reason you didn't fall asleep is the strong decaf coffee you're drinking late in the evening.
It was a good mantra, and it stuck in my head, and I thought, right, well, this song is definitely going to make an appearance at the next opportunity. So thank you for the Thursdays, Andrew.
Thanks so
much. It
much.
was really good, and that mantra did stick with me throughout the week. So
okay, take it away.
Give thanks to the Lord, our God and King. His love endures forever. For He is good, He is above all things. His love endures forever. Sing praise, sing praise. With a mighty hand and an outstretched arm, His love endures forever. For the life that's been reborn, His love endures forever. Sing praise, sing praise, sing praise, sing praise. Forever God is faithful. Forever God is with us, forever. From the rising to the setting sun, His love endures forever. And by the grace of God we will carry on. His love endures forever. Sing praise, sing praise, sing praise, sing praise. Forever God is faithful, forever God is strong, forever God is with us, forever. Forever God is faithful, forever God is strong, forever God is with us, forever, forever. His love endures forever. His love endures forever. His love endures forever, forever and ever. His love endures forever. His love endures forever. His love endures forever, forever and ever.
Beautiful, Drew. Thank you so much. Absolutely fabulous. And I hope everybody else is finding soul sessions as chill as the dog on the couch behind you.
Who is not actually allowed on the couch, and I'm determined that it's not going to happen. Oh, wait, I think you heard it.
I saw her rolling around.
We've been
Yeah, I
enjoying
kinda
Marianne all
I
night.
saw two legs. I was like, hang on, there's a dog. It kind of flopped over.
Yeah, she is very chill. She's going to puppy school at the moment, so it's my job to do the homework and instill the good behavior. So I don't think Louise is tuned in, so I'm probably she'll never see it.
Drew, thank you so much for that rendition. To get us back on the Irish track, and our last two, we come up to them now, both really Irish. The next one, there we go. Griff's reading himself, entering a character, and center. We are looking at The Banks, which is my own River Lee, which 50 minutes ago I didn't know was the same song. So I don't think I've ever heard this song played all the way through, although you've mentioned it a couple of times in conversation. So I'm really looking forward to hearing the song. Any background about this?
No, I just fell in love with this tune as soon as I heard it. I mean, I fell in love with Cork first, and then when I heard the tune, I really loved the tune. And going back to the, how are we Irish? It's the music for me. It's the tunes. Like something about these two tunes speak to me, and like there's nostalgia in it, but there's also the sort of the post-colonial chutzpah, if I can bring that in.
Good Irish word, chutzpah.
Yeah,
Chutzpah
first
is
time
Irish,
I've
I
ever
think,
heard
yeah.
that in reference to the Banks, but we'll take it.
So, Benachten na Fela Paracourt. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Well done.
Oh, there we go.
Immaculate.
Okay. Take it away.
Cork's city song. The banks of my own lovely Lee. How oft do my thoughts in their fancy take flight to the home of my childhood away, to the days when each patriot's vision seemed bright, ere I dreamed that those joys should decay. when my heart was as light as the wild winds that blow down the Mardyke through each elm tree, where we sported and played neath each green leafy shade on the banks of my own lovely Lee, where we sported and played neath each green leafy shade on the banks of my own lovely Lee. And then in the springtime of laughter and song, can I ever forget those sweet hours with the friends of my youth as we rambled along amongst the green mossy banks and wildflowers? And then when the evening sun sinking to rest shed its golden light over the sea, the maid with her lover, the wild daisies pressed on the banks of my own lovely Lee. The maid with her lover, the wild daisies pressed on the banks of my own lovely Lee.
Beautiful.
Up Cork.
That one, up Cork. That one is based on, that version Mary did there was based on the Sean O'Riordan, one of the previous professors in the UCC music department. And if you'll notice at the very end of it, he does a plagal cadence. Does anybody know what a plagal cadence is?
I was wondering if that was a plagal cadence. I heard it and thought, man, that's certainly a cadence, but is it a plagal one? And you confirmed.
It's a plagal.
And what do you say when you do a plagal cadence?
Oh, is that a plagal cadence as well? Oh, I see.
That is
A plagal cadence is amen.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Well, it was absolutely fabulous. It's getting I don't know what that means. Bill Reedy, explain yourself.
He has a playlist with 50 versions of that song on it, and it just plays and plays and plays. It is for real. It's hard to tell.
I'm a Corkman now, by.
Please don't try the accent. You were doing so well.
I didn't think that was going to fly with you. I just had
Can we go back to the green hair then?
Yeah, no, that's it. That's more Boston. Well, we're coming to. We like to end soul sessions with a really big number, and there's no bigger number than Danny Boy on St. Patrick's Day. We'll get to it in a second. I just want to give a shout out to Noreen Crawley, who's a member of the Grove, because Noreen, she set up a Christmas tree in the walkway of the retirement center, of the Grove Retirement Center at Christmas. Obviously, it was a Christmas tree, and then she didn't feel like taking it down. So in January, she sort of changed it into a COVID tree and kind of dedicated it to all the workers around COVID and the fight against COVID. And then still, come the end of January, still don't want to take it down. So she made it into a Valentine's Day tree. So it became a Valentine's Day tree. And I think today, my understanding is it's a St. Patrick's Day tree. And it's got a little gnome on it. It's not a leprechaun, a little gnome that was kind of pre-St. Patrick's Day. And when you walk down the passageway of the Grove, apparently, I'm not allowed to do it, but one of the workers tells me this is so, and actually wolf whistles at you as you pass by, which I think, in a retirement center, you might expect a lot of noises, but a wolf whistle generally wouldn't be one of them. So shout out to Spirited Noreen, who is representative of an incredible spirit within the Grove. We thank God that so far it has been COVID-free. They are in the process of receiving their vaccines. We feel blessed, but like Duncan was saying, so our communities are filled with spirited, beautiful people who are gracious and kind and caring. And so just a small shout out to Noreen. Keep that gnome there. I'd like to see all the iterations through a year. What will it be next? I want to see Halloween Christmas tree. I want to see. Let's keep it going. But we're going to go out now. We're going to end our St. Patrick's Day celebration with a rendition of Danny Boy. Mary and Griff are going to play this for us. Drew, I think, is going to do something that doesn't require singing along, and I'll do the same. And let's give a good old Patrick's Day send off with the most classic of all songs. Or Drew might say the most cliched of all songs, but we'll go with classic.
I was going to preface this one. We weren't going to do this one, but my colleague at U of L, Aileen Delan, did an RTE piece on this piece and was talking about reclaiming it. It is a beautiful piece. And just like my own lovely Lee, it has this beautiful soaring melody. And at the back of my mind was one of our old parishioners, Beth and Don Miller.
They're not old. But...
One of our former choir members when we were in a choir with them in Riverside, California. This was their song for their past son, their son who had passed, Daniel. And this one goes out to them. Do check out Aileen Delan's piece on Danny Boy. She does a beautiful job of sort of reclaiming this tune. London Derriere. It's a beautiful tune.
Okay, take it away.
Oh, Danny Boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the leaves are falling. Till you must go and I must bide. But you come back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. Till I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so. And when you come and all the leaves are dying, and I am dead, as dead I will may be, you'll come and find the place where I lay dying, and stand and say an Ave there for me, and I will hear the soft you tread above me, but in my grave a warmer, safer be, for you will kneel and tell me that you love me, and I will lie in peace until you come to me.
Magnificent. Mary, Griff, thank you so much. And just a wonderful way to end our soul sessions for this evening. We've run to exactly an hour. We seem to get that right almost every week. Sylvia, we see your request. We'll certainly put that in on the playlist for next week. We'll sing the Lord's Prayer. It is soul. It is soul, and we'll certainly sing it. So thank you for that request. Thanks again for Duncan for coming in. We wish you all a blessed evening for St. Patrick's Day, and have an absolutely brilliant rest of your week. Thank you all those. Thanks for everybody for tuning in and for commenting. That's what really makes it, for me, certainly. I'm sure it's the same for Mary and Griff and Drew, knowing that people are out there enjoying the music that's being produced and appreciating this little Soul Sessions initiative. We'll keep it going until we are out of lockdown. So who knows when that might be. But thank you for your commitment to being with us. Good night, everybody. Unusual Suspects want to just wave goodbye.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy
St.
St.
Patrick's Day.
Good night, everybody.